Just as day one of NFL free agency was wrapping up, Andrew Berry and the Browns made another signing. Linebacker Jordan Hicks, a 2-year, $8 million contract, an average of $4 million a season. And my initial reaction was, that is the end of the Anthony Walker and Taki eras in Cleveland. Walker went back to his hometown Miami Dolphins. Taki, shortly after the Browns signed Jordan Hicks, he signed with the New England Patriots. So the Browns are going a different direction at linebacker, aside from Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, really the only contributing linebacker returning from last season. But let's get to know Jordan Hicks a little bit. Former third-round pick out of Texas to the Arizona Cardinals, I recall. Then he went over to Minnesota. He had a bad middle portion of his career, like up, down, then starting to come back up again. And you can see he's played good football the last 2 or 3 years with the Vikings. Not a great pass rusher, but you're not really paying him to be one. He's a middle linebacker who is there to help out in run stopping and help out in coverage. And I think his PFF grades from last year accurately reflect that. He was ranked 22nd out of 82 qualifying linebackers, an overall grade of 74.6, run defense 74.2, coverage 70.2. This is not a major signing where the Browns are getting an all-time steal or something like that. They're just signing another Taki, another Anthony Walker, because there are so many of these linebackers who fall in the same tier of they're not going to be game changers. They're not going to have crazy plays that alter the course of a game, but you just don't want them to be a liability. You don't want them to get picked on in coverage. You don't want them to miss tackles when stopping their run. And Jordan Hicks, I have him stepping in as this team's middle linebacker on my updated depth chart. I slot Tony Fields at strong side for the time being. I think the Browns are going to target linebacker heavily and early in the draft and try and replenish some depth at that spot. So look for that to be an increasing need for the Browns in the NFL draft. Could be Amari Cooper out of Texas A&M. Could be Jeremiah Trotter out of Clemson. Just 2 names to put on your radar. But how would you grade the signing? A, B, C, D, or F? We'll talk about what the Browns have done in the entirety of day one in free agency in just a little bit. But when it comes to Jordan Hicks, 2 years, $8 million, it's not about the money for me. It's the decision to go with Jordan Hicks over Walker and over Taki because none of those guys are going to have great disparities in their contracts. And all things considered, I think it's a fine addition. We're looking for a guy to have more availability than what we've had out of Anthony Walker lately. And ultimately, I think the Browns just felt like Jordan Hicks was better suited for that middle linebacker role than Taki was. So they let him test the free agent market. He gets a job in New England. And now Jordan Hicks comes over to take over the middle of this defense. And I don't think Hicks is going to step in here and be this ginormous playmaker for this team, but I think he's got a good shot of just not rocking the boat too much. Now, before we get to the rest of the Browns free agency news from earlier today, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are almost at 34,889 subscribers. I can't speak English. We are almost at 34,000 subscribers. We're 389 away. Let's get the job done, Petey. I know day one is wrapping up and it's been a long day, but come on, man. So if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you go ahead and do so. Now, so far in free agency, the Browns, their biggest move is what I expected them to do, which was something via trade. That has been Andrew Berry's bread and butter. Not free agency spending, actually, which I know he likes spending money, but he likes to do that on his own guys and by acquiring players in trades. His 2 biggest contracts in free agency were Dalvin Tomlinson last year and Austin Hooper back in his first year as a GM. So the Browns, they go out and get Jerry Jeudy to help out Deshaun Watson. They bring back Zadarius Smith and Maurice Hurst. I like both of those signings a ton. Those were 2 guys I had penciled in for a long time as free agent targets for Cleveland to bring back, and happy to see both of those players return. So Jordan Hicks takes over at middle linebacker. A rumor that I just saw pop up was the Browns are interested in Jameis Winston. Now, I think with Jacoby Brissett going to the Patriots, that opens the door for Joe Flacco to come back to Cleveland. Flacco wants a reunion, but he also wants to go somewhere where he can compete for a starting role, and he knows that's not going to be Cleveland. But if he can't find that somewhere else, then the Browns are surely his next best option. So if you're Cleveland, I feel like the ideal world is to kind of just sit back, wait, see if Flacco can get a job elsewhere. If he can't, bring him back as your backup. It was an awesome experience last year. I don't really see the downside other than if they can't be adults in the locker room and get over the fact that, yeah, Flacco played well, but Watson is this team's starting quarterback. And, I mean, Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski at their end-of-the-year press conference were not shy with their words that that would not be an issue for them. But I have heard now Jameis Winston maybe as this team's backup, a veteran approach. What's not to love about signing Jameis Winston? First off, he'd be the all-time Browns quarterback edition. Like, just add him to the list of names of random Browns quarterbacks over the last 15 or so years and toss in Jameis Winston. So he's electric factory. He's must-see TV. It's freaking Jameis. So I'd be all for Jameis coming in and being this team's backup. So once again, hitting the free agency signing so far, Judy via trade, Zadarius Smith, Maurice Hurst, and now Jordan Hicks. Not surprised that the first three free agent signings by the Browns have all been on the defensive side of the football. If we're thinking about what this team needs next, I'm thinking running back. And bad news for Andrew Berry, the running back market is not shaping up kindly for teams. Like, the draft is to be a free agent running back this year, have it coincide with a very bad running back draft class is shaping up for some great paydays across the league. Like, Austin Eckler got a 2-year, $12 million contract. I thought it could be a 1-year, $4 to $5 million contract. So for the Browns, it's not ideal because they're not looking to get a new starting running back. They're looking for a good, cheap running back, which most years you can do no problem, just to hold down the fort until Nick Chubb returns. Zach Moss was rumored to Cleveland by Aaron Wilson, so maybe as some other running backs start to cash in, the money might dry up a little bit, and the Browns will wait for Zach Moss. Derrick Henry's still out there. That doesn't seem likely at all. I think Derrick Henry is either a Dallas Cowboy, a Houston Texan, or a Baltimore Raven. So the news once again, Jordan Hicks, 2-year, $8 million contract. You have your new starting middle linebacker. It's your Anthony Walker replacement. Taki goes off to New England, so the Browns are going somewhat from scratch at linebacker. You still got JOK, like we said, but I'm a fan of the signing. I don't have strong feelings one way or another. Anthony Walker is an irreplaceable human being to this team, but this team needs a starting linebacker. And so ultimately, you couldn't count on Walker playing all 17 games. I think they feel a lot more confident in Hicks to fulfill that role, so they go out and they bring him in free agency. All right, that will do it for us. I am going to head home. I'm going to be back in less than 10 hours probably. Hit the ground running tomorrow morning because Andrew Berry, he likes to be a bigger spender in the second and third wave of NFL free agency. Once some of the big ticket items are off the board, that's when he starts to get busy. So make sure you join us tomorrow. We will be live on the Cleveland Browns Report, so I don't want you to miss a single thing. So hit that sub button down below. And I almost forgot, got to pick a card. Big text. Colin got it earlier. Yeah, so you have a chance to go 2-0 for the producers today. What are you thinking? Really quickly. Pick a card time.
Of course. Let me do the 7 of diamonds.
You know, he said 9 of diamonds. That's what he got. I'm going to go 2-year, $8 million contract, 8 of clubs.
Like it.
Ooh, easy, Matthew. 3 of hearts. 3 of hearts. All right. Get back to your Monday night. We will see you all tomorrow.